Hello, and welcome to M2M session. So this is a broadcast in anticipation of the anniversary of M2M session. So for today, I'd like to talk to us about the silent scream of masculinity. The silent scream of masculinity. So there are four things that I want to narrow down in this episode. Number one, lack of preparation. Lack of preparation. And the whole concept of this is centered on the fact that every man out there is a scream inside waiting to be heard. There's a whole lot that has been suppressed in us, and we are looking for an opportunity to let it out. There's a whole lot. Lack of preparation. You see, let's do a little comparison, okay? Let's do a little comparison. While growing up as kids, the ladies, they play marriage from childhood. They already learn how to be a mother. They play it. That's the type of childhood play that they were accustomed to. Role switching. But men, boys, from childhood, we are accustomed with football and video games, block building, and that's not wrong, that's not bad, trust me. But see, the whole idea of this is in a way, the ladies have been prepared from childhood how to be a wife. They've been in a way prepared for marriage. Of course, and again, with their closeness to their mom, and be it their mom or their dad, society has in a way figured out that okay, probably these are the vulnerable or these are the people that need help. So they spend more time investing and teaching them about marriage, and they prepare them not just for marriage, but they prepare them for the future. Every other person expects that, the men, we will figure it out. We will figure it out. So you get to realize that there are still men out there who are still trying to figure out how to be a husband. They are trying to figure out how to be a father. They are trying to figure out how to raise and how to build, how to start a family. We do trial and error. And when we get in there and we see what we were not prepared for, we see what no one taught us. Growing up, we would see our dad. For those that grow with their father, we would see our fathers and we admire them, but we just didn't know the things that they went through. And when we get in there, we realize, wow, our fathers did a whole lot. Our fathers did a whole lot in building and sustaining the home. There was no blueprint for us. We were in a way not prepared for this. Number 2. Secondly, diversity in language. In as much as we also want to scream about our lack of preparation for the future, we also want to scream about our diversity in language. Now, by language, I don't mean English, German, French. No, that's not what I'm talking about. You see, a woman talks in details. If you ask her, how was your day? Or if you ask her, how are you? If you ask her, how are you, she'll start explaining her day. If you ask her, how was your day, she will give you a rundown from when she left the house. Every single thing that happened. That's women for you. But if you see a man, you see we as men, we talk in points. We talk in points. We just want to get to the bottom line. We just want to get to the main point. How are you? Fine. How was your day? Good. Amazing. What happened today? We will give summary. What happened today? I went to work. Nothing much. That's meant for you. That's how we are. But you see, the diversity in our language calls for attention. Why? Because we have a language that cannot be understood. We have needs that has not been met. We have issues unsaid. And in the way that we have been made, with the way that we have been conditioned, there's nothing wrong with us. But in that way, we have not been able to find a way to express how we truly feel. We've not been taught that, okay, in as much as men we speak in points, we should also find a way to express how we feel. We have needs. In the next session, I'll be talking about the different needs of men. We have needs, but we are unable to communicate those needs. How does a man tell you that he's hungry? How does a man tell you that he's broke? How does a man tell you that he is frustrated and he doesn't know what to do? If he does it, he would be seen as a weakling, so he shuts up. How does a man tell you that every single person was pissing him off throughout the whole day and he just felt like punching them? How does a man tell you that he feels like disappearing, that he feels like ghosting? Last year, I was in this situation last year, and trust me, I just couldn't take it anymore. I just had to ghost. I disappeared. Literally speaking, I went off from social media. Nobody knew why. I was struggling with depression. Nobody knew about it. So I ghosted on the entire world. After my birthday, my phone got bad. I saw that as an opportunity. I left social media completely. The only place that I was being found was my office. Even going to the office, of course, I would put up a smile, and nobody knew that this young man had needs inside that just weren't met. Everyone around you, they have expectations about you, but they don't know that deep down, there's something that needs to be let out. Number 3, we have unanswered questions. We have unanswered questions. Questions like, what does it mean to be a husband? As a husband, what do you do when your wife goes into menopause? What do you do as a husband when your wife is seeing her period? What do you even do as a boyfriend, as a guy who is in courtship, when your fiancé, your partner is seeing her period? How can you handle her mood swing? How can you raise a family? What's the best way to train your children? How do you cultivate patience for your children? The question is, who taught the women this? And how come we were never taught? So then you wonder why it looks like men have become absentees father. See, listen to me. Probably your dad may have been absent. Probably we have men out there who are absent. There is a reason. I'm not justifying it, but trust me, nobody does anything without a motive. Nobody does anything without a motive. Why we have had absentees father is because they have unanswered questions. They don't know how to be a father. They were not prepared for it. They were not prepared for it. And if care is not taken, we would also repeat the cycle. We would get there and we would realize that we were also not prepared for it. I've had days that I've thought about the future and I asked myself, will I have the patience to endure with my children when they are being stubborn? The only thing I know to do there when I can't take it anymore is to carry myself and drive out of the house and come back when everybody has slept. Why? Because that is what I was shown. That was the picture I saw my dad showing us. It was easy for my dad to pick up himself when everybody is disturbing and is shouting. He would drive out because he just couldn't stand the noise. My mom was the only one that could control us, that could tell us keep quiet. My dad would say keep quiet, but would still talk. He just didn't know how to put a stop, so he would drive out and come back. That is the picture I have in front of me, and if I do not deal with it, have questions unanswered. We all have questions unanswered. I dare say every man that had been an absent father did it for a reason, because they were not prepared. They did not have answers to their questions. But the narrative has to change with us. The narrative has to change with us. Number 4, emotional disconnection. These are reasons why we have silent screams waiting inside of us to find expression. Emotional disconnection. We are expected to open up, but when we were young and we were hot, we were told to stop crying. We were told, be a man. We were told, don't cry. Men don't cry. We were raised in a way that we were not able to tap with our emotions. So then we grew up with the mindset that women are emotional beings and men are logical beings. So we built our logic and women built their emotions. But guess what? As time went on, the women began tapping into their logic, because you see, we were fed with a lie. We were fed with a lie. You see, women thinks out loud. They think in circles. That's logical. That's their logical pattern. They can talk to you and they are thinking at the same time. But you see, women, we think quietly. We think in a straight line. The women have realized that they are both emotional and logical beings. So that's why you see that a woman is smarter. Just look at in a class, who is the smartest in the room? Is the woman, is the lady, is the girl? You think it's emotional smartness? No, it's IQ. They have both EQ and IQ. So you can see a lady may be going through stuff and another lady would be empathic about it and would reach out. But we as men rather, if you see your fellow guy going through stuff, we would act like we don't care. We've become emotionally disconnected with ourselves. We don't even pay attention to our needs. And we don't even pay attention to ourselves. We risk our lives without thinking. We don't consider putting ourselves in other people's shoes. Why do you think? Why do you think all of a sudden the women for a long time started speaking up for themselves? Because of their emotional awareness. One woman, every woman out there also joined and they became empathic for themselves. And they realized, wow, my fellow ladies are going through stuffs. But for a while, we as men, we have been keeping quiet. But I'm glad that the narrative is changing. Now we have minority, not majority yet. Minority of the men are becoming empathic. Men who have given themselves to building their EQ, emotional intelligence. Men who have realized that, wow, this emotional intelligence stuff is not just for women, but we also need to be connected. We also need to tap into our emotions. We need our emotions to raise a home. So that when we hear our children crying, we can be empathic. Why is he crying? There may be something wrong with him, rather than just shouting and raising up the cane to flog, because that's not the solution. See, some fathers have thought that, okay, flogging is the only solution. So when they flog, but the child is still crying, they've tried flogging and the child still doesn't change. So they do not know how to raise the child. They become frustrated. Maybe all they would have just done would have been to be empathic, call the child, the stubborn child, down and sit down and talk with the child. You see, it's amazing because most women receive counsels about men from other women and not men. Most women receive counsels from other women about men. Women are teaching women about men, not men. So you see, every woman has a way that they expect us to react, to behave. Why? Because it was not a man that taught them how men react. It was a woman. But again, I am glad that the narrative is changing. We have emotions that has never been seen. We have screams that has never been made. We have a love that has been shut up in our language, in our hearts. And we have a language that cannot be understood. We have hurts, we have pains, we have fears, we have confusions, we have anger, we have frustrations, we have depression, a whole lot locked inside of us. It's time to let it out. It's time to let the world hear your scream. I want us to do something. I know that you may not have had the opportunity to do it. One day I came back from work, I think that was early this month. I came back from work and I was working on my website for my business, and I got to a point that I got so frustrated. Have been trying to debug some errors, trying to manipulate the whole stuff. The system, the way that the system is currently, I'm trying to set up some new stuffs. And I was so frustrated. The only thing I felt like doing was to scream. I just wanted to scream. So guess what I did? When I got back from work, I went to a quiet place and I let it out. I let out the scream in me. It felt really good. When I left there, I was walking on the road and I was in my street about to approach the house, and I realized that wow, I still had some scream left inside of me. Guess what I did? I didn't care if people would think I'm crazy at that point. I didn't even reason it if anybody would think there's something wrong with me. All I wanted to do was let out that scream. People have called us a whole lot because of what we've done. People have called the men. We've been called rapists. We've been called insecure. We've been called men are scum. We've been called men are scam. We've been called a whole lot. So please permit me if I want to be called crazy. Because for the last couple of weeks, nobody understands me. Nobody understands us. That's the point. Nobody understands us. Can you imagine? A few weeks ago, I heard something about me. Of course, it's not true. It's definitely not true. But when I heard it, I was disappointed. Wow. Really, imagine somebody putting up a lie about me. Now, what was the lie? The lie was that number one, I sleep with random girls. I sleep with random girls, and that in fact, currently at my place, I have some female stuffs. So which means that it was the girls I was bringing home that forgot those stuff in my house. Now the lie wasn't as amazing. What was amazing was the person that was told the lie and the person believed it. And I asked the person a simple question. You've been to my house before. Have you seen any female stuff? The person said no. And I asked the person another question. You've known me for a long time. At least you can vouch for my Christianity. Do you think I do that? Guess what the person said? Yeah. No. See, honestly speaking, I have no issue with the person. Neither do I have any issue with the person that said the stuff. No. They are not the first person. They are not the first person. 3 years ago, I was in a leadership body in an organization, and I was I was accused of several things. So I've been through that part before. I was accused Okay. I remember now when somebody accused me of sexually abusing her. It was amazing. My president just asked me, Anna, is it true? And I said no. And that was all. And I was so glad that he believed me. Okay. And funny enough, this stuff wasn't said to one person. No. When the person in question said it, there were a lot of persons there. See, the truth is, I know in the future scandals will come. You see what I did? Before I started this podcast, I started it with a confession. I started it with a confession. So before anybody wakes up one day and wants to put up a scandal, hey, I have a confession that I've already made. You can't pin anything on me, man. You can't. But now it's not about me. What about every other guy out there? What about every other guy out there who is trying to live a life what people are diffusing and making a mess of their life because of lies, scandals? Hey! Or is it about the fact where last year I got to hear that I was in a relationship with a young girl? Meanwhile, we had nothing. There was nothing going on between us. So you see, these are things that have been going on inside of us, and we just. So it's time to let out every frustration. How do we let out the scream? The scream has been inside of us silent. It's time to give voice to our scream. It's time to let the world hear your scream. So we are going to do something right now. Yes, we are going to scream out loud, wherever you may be. I want to take the next couple of seconds and scream. If they call you crazy, let them call you crazy. Have been called worse, you may have been called worse. At this point, we don't care anymore. So you are going to scream. Think about everything. Think about the hurts. Think about the pains. Think about the fears. Think about the past. Think about the uncertainty of the future. Think about the lack of preparation for the future. Think about the diversity of language. Think about the unanswered questions. Think about the emotional disconnection. Think about the frustration. Think about the angers. Think about the depression. And at the count of 3, let's scream. Think. Yeah, that's it. Think about it. If you're thinking about it now, you will be stirring up some emotion, you'll be stirring up some feelings in you. See, there are a lot of men out there who are walking out, they are walking around angry. They are actually angry. This may be a good way to diffuse your anger. Think about everything. Now, of course, after this podcast session, you can also take out time to do it on your own again. But let's scream. At the count of 3, let's let out our scream. 1, 2, 3. Scream. How did that feel? Do you want to go again? Let's go again. Scream. scream like never before. Let out that frustration. One of the reasons why some of us have not screamed, because we think that it is only women that scream. There's nothing feminine about screaming. You've been screaming on the inside. It's time to let it out. Let's go again. Inhale and exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3. Scream. Yeah. So next time when you feel when you have those feelings inside, next time when your awareness of lack of preparation hits you on the face, when your awareness of your diversity in language, when the awareness of the unanswered question, when the awareness of the emotional connects stares you in the face, the easiest thing to do is let out those screams. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. I remain your session host, AI. Cheers.